We'd like to welcome Sam Burns to the Media Center at the FedEx St. Jude Championship. Welcome.
Thank you.
You enter the week at number 3 in the FedEx Cup standing. So just some thoughts as you enter the playoffs this week.
Yeah, I'm excited to be back here in Memphis. Played well here last year. Unfortunately, lost in a playoff, but it's a golf course that I really like. It's grass that I'm used to playing on. I grew up on Bermuda, so I feel comfortable around here, and I'm excited for the week.
And can you just give us a quick recap on your season? You've obviously had 3 wins, very successful season. Thoughts as the regular season closes and you enter into the playoffs?
Yeah, it's been a good year on the golf course. I think definitely some highs, some lows in there. But yeah, I think coming into the year, I didn't really know kind of what to expect coming off last year. I knew I was playing well and had played well in the fall, and then won my first start in Sanderson. So that was obviously a nice kind of kickstart to the year. And then, kind of had a rough stretch in there, kind of on the West Coast, and then bounced back to win the Valspar, which was fun going back to back. And then, yeah, I feel like the last kind of 6 weeks has been a blur. I was out of the country and went on vacation and had 3 weeks off. So I'm excited to be back playing again.
Great. Well, we'll go ahead and open it up to questions. Right here in the back, Jason.
Hey, Sam, Matt Hatfield, Action News 5 here in Memphis. When you're coming into a weekend like this, is it more important to have the confidence knowing you played so well here last year, or simply just how you're playing in the current moment in time?
I think it definitely helps playing well here last year. For me, coming into each week, I try to kind of treat it as its own, and really for me, just try to prepare the best way that I can, and make sure I'm healthy. I'm getting the things done early in the week that I need to have success later in the week, and so really that's kind of the things I focus on.
Shane Ryan, golf. Right here in front of you in the maroon shirt.
Hey, Sam, on a different topic, will you be following the court hearing today? Is that of interest to you?
I probably won't follow it very closely. I'm sure, I'll find out the verdict whenever it comes out, but not super interested.
Scotty was in here earlier, and he had an interesting opinion where basically if somebody goes to live, that's their business, not his world, but he was frustrated, was his word, by the fact that they were suing because that is a little bit more personal. Does that resonate with you? Do you feel that way?
Yeah, I think at this point, it's an ongoing legal battle, and a lot of it's out of my control, and I just try to focus on being here this week at the FedEx St. Jude and trying to play the best golf that I can.
Doug Ferguson.
Sorry to harp on this, and then I'll get back to golf in a minute, but when yours was one of the names that was flying through the rumor mill viciously to the point where you had to stand up in the meeting in Hartford. What was that like? Was that irritating at all, or was it distracting, or what?
I guess that's why it's a rumor, because it's obviously not true. But for me, I fully support the PGA Tour 100%. It was a pretty easy decision for me when all this kind of started, because, I went back to and thought about when I was a kid growing up and being on the putting green and having a chance to, in my imagination, to win a PGA Tour event, to win a major. And that's one of the reasons I play golf, is because, I love what the PGA Tour stands for. And it's one of the reasons that I enjoy being out here. So for me, it's not really a hard decision.
What kind of reaction did you get in the meeting?
Everyone that knows me, I think, knew that I had no intent to go anywhere else. And so I don't think people were really surprised.
And then to the golf for a second, when you talk about a good year it's been, what in your mind made it a good year? Was it strictly winning? And on top of that, was there a part of the year that left you wanting?
Yeah, I think for me, I try to focus on, a lot of, different areas where I can improve my game from a statistical standpoint. And so really trying to attack those areas. And, I know that, if I can continue to improve those areas, good golf will come with that. And so, seeing some of those areas improve from last season, and then kind of validating that with playing well in contention, is definitely something that is rewarding.
Great. Sean Martin, PJ
You
Tour.
talked about highs and lows, and I think the highs are pretty obvious. What were the lows then this season?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's, I feel like, when you put a lot of work into something and you come out and not, you don't play well, and just the kind of the stretch where I think I missed, 3 or 4 cuts in a row was just really frustrating, just because, it felt like I was doing all the right things and putting in the work, and then not seeing the fruit from that is obviously difficult. So I think that's kind of what I was referring to.
And then if Scotty and Billy both make the President's Cup team, who's your preference, I guess, of partner?
I guess you'll have to ask Davis. But I would love to play with either. I think, either of those guys are obviously world-class players. I've played a lot of golf with both of them. Billy and I have had success at the Zurich and the QB. So I would be honored to play with either one of them.
Go back here to Mike Sadie with WREG.
Sam, with maybe because of Live, with the purses next year going up and these FedEx Cup playoffs, the field shrinks, the purses going up, those 70 players earn their card. What do you think about those changes moving on, like when this is here next year, in terms of what this is going to look like?
Yeah, I think it brings more value to our playoffs, just in the fact that each tournament is more important in the regular season, just because cutting the number of guys that start the playoffs down by almost 50% is going to make it more challenging. I think you'll start to see, maybe some of the top guys playing some more of the same golf tournaments with the invitationals that are going to have larger purses. So I don't know. I think it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out, but I think it's really exciting for us that are out here. It's exciting for the fans. So I'm looking forward to it.
And Sam, if the court decides with these 3 players, what do you think the reception will be for those guys when they tee it up here?
Yeah, I think, when all this kind of started, I don't really fault anyone for the decision that they make to go play another tour. I think each person, has their reasons and has, kind of why they did what they did. And for me personally, I can only speak for myself. I don't know what the reaction of others will be, but I think, it's hard to really say because I'm not in their shoes and I haven't had the same life experiences that they've had. And so I'll just try to love them well and accept them to play here this week. I don't necessarily agree with what they've done, but that's life. I mean, just because I don't agree with someone doesn't mean I should shame them or hate them for what they've done. So I think, just trying to have kind of an open mindset and accept them for the decision that they made.
Andrew Anderson, Sports Grid.
Hey, Sam. Mate, you mentioned you had a few weeks off in your lead-up. What does it look like when you say a week off from tournament play? Are you still down there at the local track, working, grinding on the game? And despite having 3 wins this season, do you feel like you're sneaking under the radar moving into the playoffs?
Yeah, I think these kind of off weeks were a little bit different because we stayed in Europe for a week after the Open. And then whenever we got home, we left. So we got home on a Tuesday and left on a Thursday. One of my best friends got married, so we went and did that. So that was a little bit different than what a typical off week is. But usually it's just kind of hanging out at home, seeing friends, seeing people that we've, don't get to see when we're out on the road. So really just trying to relax and kind of re-energize for the last part of the year.
Back to Sean.
You work with Mark Horton, right?
Yeah.
Is that through Billy?
Yeah.
How long have you worked with him, and what are the things you've learned from him?
Yeah, so we started last season, worked all last season, this season as well. I think it's just having kind of a better understanding of how to play golf courses. Like, for example, at Colonial, I haven't really played well there in the past, and I always thought that I would kind of hit a lot of long irons off tees and just kind of get it out there in the fairways. And then this year, I didn't play last year, so this year was the first year that I've worked with Mark at that event. And And so I just played the golf course completely different, hit a lot of drivers. And so I think, that aggressive style of play on that golf course, it fits me a little bit better, and it fits kind of my profile and how I play a little bit better. And so it was really nice to see that, that kind of paid off.
Any final questions for Sam? All right. Well, thank you for joining us today. Good luck this week.
Appreciate it.